In a letter to respected COP21 world leaders in Paris, France in 2015, Supreme Master Ching Hai urgently advised them to implement vegan law as the solution to mitigate global warming. The letter reads as follows. Respected COP21 world leaders Paris, my special salute and best wishes to all of your distinguished, honoured ladies and gentlemen who have gathered in Paris for the protection of our world. This is just a reminder that just paying money alone cannot save lives, but being vegan does. A lot of evidence and information about this for you to consider are in the book From Crisis to Peace, free online at crisis2peace.org. Countless lives in the present and future, including yours and your children's future, children of your children's, are in your hands. Save them by voting for and implementing vegan law to stabilize the climate. Otherwise, lives on Earth will perish and we will be committing a graver offense than all the acts of killing and wars combined. With all love in God, yours most sincerely, Supreme Master Ching Hai. Vegan.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
برامجنا متوفرة بالعديد من اللغات. يرجى زيارة suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Looking at the devastation, one Mississippi resident said, "There's nothing left." Homes and businesses ripped to shreds, the roof of this restaurant torn off, tables and chairs, and much of the inside left intact. At least 12 tornadoes reported, cars and even tractor trailers sent flying. A water tower crumbled to the ground.
Our Fragile Planet, 2023's Wake-Up Call, Part 2 of 4. Continue watching to find out more.
Vegan, no weapons, no battle, but winning hearts.
Animals want to be free, just like us. Animals get scared, just like us. Animals want to live, just like us.
Oi, intelligent viewers. That means hi in Cape Verdean Creole. My name is Ligia. The courageous people of Cabo Verde pray for the safety and spiritual upliftment of all beings on earth.
O Gaza, all lands belong to the Lord, not any grabber. Live in love with your neighbors, not die in horror.
Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan.
Welcome to our show, Our Fragile Planet, 2023's Wake-Up Call, Part 2 of 4. Extreme weather events have been impacting countries all across the globe. In Part 1, we highlighted the major earthquakes and sinkholes that have recently occurred worldwide. On today's program, we'll examine recent disasters involving storms, hurricanes, floods, and landslides. A series of winter storms wreaked havoc on California toward the end of 2022 and into early 2023. During the New Year holiday period, hundreds of thousands of households lost power and thousands received evacuation orders.
Homes engulfed, cars floating through water, and roadways shut down as Northern California faces dangerous flash flooding. An atmospheric river dumping historic amounts of rain. San Francisco seeing its second wettest day on record with 5 inches of rain falling in the downtown area on Saturday.
Street flooding, house flooding, mudslides, rock slides, wires down, trees down.
The massive amount of rain causing at least 2 levees to fail, an entire community urged to seek higher ground. One man was found dead in his vehicle near the city of Elk Grove. In Fresno County, responders rescued the 78-year-old man from his pickup truck as floodwaters rose around him. Severe flooding near the city of Danville turned roads into fast-flowing rivers. And it wasn't just the rain coming down hard. At one point, over 7 inches of snow fell per hour Saturday afternoon in Lake Tahoe.
Floods and landslides in California resulted in 22 fatalities and inflicted economic losses of up to $7 billion across the state. Simultaneously in the Philippines, at least 38 individuals were reported to have lost their lives due to floods and landslides, occurring just weeks after the devastating Christmas floods claimed the lives of at least 51 people. Just a month later, heavy rains triggered landslides and flooding in the coastal towns of Sao Paulo, Brazil's wealthiest state, causing extensive damage and claiming the lives of 57 people. Brazil has experienced the impact of several cyclones throughout the year. The most significant casualties were reported in Rio Grande do Sul, with at least 11 people losing their lives in June. A subsequent severe storm in September brought heavy rainfall, strong winds, and hailstorms, causing further damage to the states of Rio Grande do Sul. Turkey experienced a series of disasters. Torrential rains caused floods in areas already devastated by the earthquake and losses to thousands of people. 14 people were reported dead. The country later got hit by more floods that killed 3 people in the Black Sea provinces. The flash flood struck Turkey, Greece, and Bulgaria, swept away bridges, buildings, and homes, and killed at least 14 people. Italy, Romania, and Georgia also got hit by deadly floods this year. 1 person was reported dead in Romania. Landslides and mudflows triggered by heavy rains left at least 13 and 29 dead in Italy and Georgia respectively.
Floods that killed several people in Italy's northern Emilia-Romagna region have caused billions of euros worth of damage, the regional governor said on Thursday. Torrential rains this week devastated the east of the region, causing more than 20 rivers to overflow. There have been hundreds of landslides, and roads have been damaged and destroyed. Stefano Bonaccini, president of the Emilia-Romagna region, said, "The scale of the devastation caused by the bad weather is like another earthquake." Agriculture has been hit hard, with more than 5,000 farms left underwater. Some 10,000 people have been forced out of their homes, and many of those who remained were left with no electricity. It was the second time this month that Emilia-Romagna has been battered by bad weather. Heavy rains followed months of drought, which had dried out the land. Meteorologists said this reduced the capacity to absorb water. Environmental group the WWF have blamed the loss of water-absorbing forests and vegetation along the riverways for amplifying the disaster.
There are 211 countries and regions which have animal people protection laws. Burkina Faso is one of them. Burkina Faso Penal Code. Whoever poisons domestic, tame or captive animal or fish people in ponds, lakes or rivers, etc. faces up to a 10-year prison sentence and a fine of up to 3 million CFA francs or $5,000. Anyone who kills unnecessarily one such animal person also faces prison and a fine depending on the circumstances. Obey the law of your country. No more animal people slaughterhouses. No more hurting. No more murdering them to eat, to lab test, or for any reason at all. Be vegan. Make peace. So be it.
Haiti faced similar damage due to floods that claimed the lives of 56 people and left 13,000 individuals displaced. This was followed by a 4.9 magnitude earthquake that tragically took the lives of at least 3 people.
Roads were turned into rivers of brown water. Many crops have also been damaged in a country where many are starving. The World Food Programme says tens of thousands of people have been affected. Most of the damage is reported in areas around the capital, Port-au-Prince, and in the west.
Flash floods in Mexico resulted in 8 fatalities, and in central Colombia, heavy rains caused the deaths of at least 15 people. The intense rainfall flooded 3 streams, triggering a mud and debris avalanche that destroyed several homes. The 2023 tornado season in the United States has unfortunately led to at least 75 deaths, a figure 3 times higher than the toll in 2022. In the spring of 2023, a series of deadly storms and tornadoes ravaged towns and cities across the southern and midwestern regions, claiming the lives of at least 63 people and leaving dozens injured. The storms also left tens of thousands of households without power, affecting a wide area of the country, with Mississippi being hit the hardest.
Looking at the devastation, one Mississippi resident said, "There's nothing left." Homes and businesses ripped to shreds, the roof of this restaurant torn off, tables and chairs, and much of the inside left intact. At least 12 tornadoes reported, cars and even tractor trailers sent flying. A water tower crumbled to the ground.
The tornadoes resulted in more than $500 million in damage. The early hurricane season also cost billions of dollars in losses, for the U.S. Hurricane Idalia and Lee were responsible for 5 and 2 deaths respectively. This year, the United States established a new record for the number of weather and climate disasters, causing at least $1 billion in damage in a single year, totaling over $60 billion in economic losses and resulting in the tragic loss of 369 lives.
Vegan tested negative for atrocity.
Our family was becoming a little bored, so Henrietta came, and then we knew every 5 seconds what to do with our life. Henrietta was always there giving me company when I was feeling sad or mad or any kind of feeling. Henrietta was like my BFF forever.
Henrietta! She ignited joy in us and curiosity again, and we saw the joy of living through her. This sparked happiness in our family when we needed it most.
Loving viewers, we'll take a brief moment to pray for world vegan, world peace, and we'll be back shortly. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television.
Peace for Ukraine or you reign now. Russia, just go home.
Welcome back to our show, Our Fragile Planet 2023's Wake Up Call, Part 2 of 4. In Asia, Cyclone Storm Mocha inflicted extensive damage and prompted evacuations across several regions of Myanmar, Bangladesh, and India in May 2023. The powerful storm had wind gusts reaching speeds of up to 250 kilometers per hour, which is equivalent to a Category 4 hurricane in the Atlantic, and stands as one of the strongest storms to have ever hit Myanmar.
A young girl stands in the wreckage of her home. In some places, little remains of the camps outside Sittwe that housed more than 130,000 ethnic Rohingya. Cyclone Mocha has left a trail of death and destruction in Myanmar.
The cyclone flattened houses, demolished buildings, disrupted telecommunications and power lines, uprooted trees, and severed roads. In Myanmar, at least 145 people were reported dead, but the actual number of casualties could be significantly higher. Approximately 150,000 people were severely affected. According to the UN Development Program, approximately 700,000 houses were damaged. The cyclone also destroyed 327,000 hectares of agricultural land and caused a production loss estimated at about $22.6 million. At least 800,000 people were left in urgent need of food assistance.
Farmers are unlikely to get a harvest from rice paddies flooded with seawater. The impact of Cyclone Mocha on the Rohingya community will be felt for years.
I will eat whatever there's on the table, but not chicken or meat.
How about fish?
Fish?
Yeah.
Fish? Is it an animal?
Yeah.
I won't eat that either.
Oh my God, so what?
I won't eat animals!
Okay.
Give your children the best, a cruelty-free childhood. They'll be grateful, and you too will be grateful for their best behavior. Be vegan. Be a real parent.
Monsoon season this year has brought heavy rains to South Asian countries and triggered flash floods and landslides, killing at least 38 people in Nepal, 17 in Tajikistan, 31 in Afghanistan, 55 in Pakistan, and 7 in Bhutan. Devastating flash floods and glacial lake outbursts also caused at least 100 deaths in India.
A raging torrent tears down a river in northeast India. Roads and bridges have been swept away. Local communities buried in sludge. The gates of a hydroelectric dam removed from their concrete foundations. The source of this deluge is a glacial lake more than 100 kilometers to the north. It burst its banks after heavy rains combined with meltwater produced by rising temperatures. And there were no warnings issued in advance.
Countries surrounding the Himalayan mountains are prone to flash floods and landslides. The risk of glacial lake outbursts has increased in recent years due to global warming. Last year, a glacial lake outburst unleashed catastrophic flooding in northern Pakistan, submerging much of the country, killing over 1,000 and causing widespread damage. Scientists warn that as the human-induced climate crisis accelerates, 15 million people around the world are at risk from flooding caused by glacial lakes. Typhoon Doksuri brought record rainfall and flooding to the Philippines, Taiwan or Formosa, and China. Doksuri affected 2,400,000 people and left at least 39 deaths in the Philippines before pouring record-breaking rains onto China.
In Beijing and nearby Hebei province and Tianjin, hundreds of thousands of people have been evacuated. The water transforming roads into rivers and ripping bridges apart. Aeroplanes were inundated while cars and buses were completely swept away.
The cars parked on the street floated and got washed away. A couple of cars parked behind my apartment building disappeared in just a minute.
Emergency supplies have been flown into isolated communities.
The mountainous areas, there were a lot of landslides and flooded villages. I repeatedly cried seeing those reports.
Where the water has started to subside, mangled car wrecks have been left behind.
At least 78 deaths were reported in China, according to Chinese officials. In Hebei alone, about 4 million people were affected, and 40,900 houses collapsed due to the flooding. The province also lost hundreds of thousands of hectares of crops to the floods.
There are 211 countries and regions which have animal people protection laws. Obey the law of your country. No more animal people slaughterhouses. No more hurting. No more murdering them to eat, to lab test, or for any reason at all. Be vegan. Make peace. So be it.
Right after Doksuri, Typhoon Kanun pounded eastern Asia with more rain. The tropical cyclone that moved along Okinawa, Japan, and the west coast of the Korean peninsula caused at least 3 deaths. Just a month before, the heaviest downpour of the monsoon season in Korea in 115 years killed at least 47 people. Earlier this year, Tropical Cyclone Freddy brought torrential rainfall and devastation to eastern Africa. Malawi was at the epicenter of the disaster, with over 1,200 killed by floods and mudslides. Mozambique and Madagascar were also heavily affected, with 165 and 17 deaths respectively, according to the United Nations.
It is believed Freddy was the longest-lasting cyclone ever, the power of its winds having more energy than an entire U.S. hurricane season. This is what happens when one of the most sustained storms on record hits one of the world's most vulnerable populations.
And people are gone. People are gone. Things are gone. Everything is gone. It's gone down.
Entire communities washed away. Tens of thousands are displaced. This woman saved her children, but lost everything else. I have no food, blanket, clothing, she says.
Tropical Cyclone Freddy impacted the lives of more than 2.2 million Africans. Nearly 700,000 people were displaced because floods and mudslides had destroyed their houses. Approximately 1.3 million people were left in the most urgent need of assistance. 127 people lost their lives due to floods and landslides in Rwanda. In Africa, rivers burst their banks and landslides following heavy rains in the Democratic Republic of Congo killed around 600 people.
Days after the landslide, residents of Nyamukubi village are facing the full scale of that tragedy. Deborah Kalembe's worst fears have been confirmed.
The river carried people away. My brother's wife died with all her 4 children.
So far, hundreds of bodies have been recovered after landslides and floods in South Kivu.
Make peace now. Look at all beauty around you. Is it for your hands to destroy? Look at your hair turning gray. What'll you now hope to enjoy?
The floods destroyed 3,000 houses and left 50,000 Congolese in need of food assistance. Heavy rains caused by Storm Daniel in northeastern Libya led to the country's deadliest flooding in more than a century.
Drone footage capturing the damage in the city of Derna. The flooding caused 2 dams to collapse, making the situation even more dire. Libyan leaders say entire districts were just swept away and buried in mud. Officials believe as many as 20,000 people are dead and nearly 900 buildings destroyed.
Derna is a city overwhelmed. First by water, then by the scale of the humanitarian catastrophe the flooding has caused, and finally overwhelmed by grief at the loss of life. God give me patience. My heart is with you, this man cries as he sees the body of his young son. It's now becoming clearer that this was a natural disaster, but enabled by human actions. The Wadi Derna River had 2 dams, both failed. The upper one, 10 kilometres from the town, had a capacity of about 1.5 million cubic metres of water. When that burst, that water, with a weight of about 1.5 million tonnes, rushed to the sea, sweeping the second dam and about a quarter of the city with it. It is hard to comprehend the full scale of this tragedy. The force of nature and the failings of government saw entire families, entire communities, simply washed into the sea.
Rising sea temperatures can fuel tropical storms and hurricanes. We'll face more intense storms and torrential rainfall that cause havoc like this until we all take action to reduce climate change. We pray that everyone turns vegan to cool our planet, as this is the best way to protect yourself and your loved ones.
All information concerning the scientific evidence of climate change and its solution is in Supreme Master Ching Hai's book, From Crisis to Peace, free for download at crisistopeace.org.
If there will be no destruction on God's holy mountain when Jesus returns, why on earth would I contribute to that destruction in my life now? Especially when I'm privileged to have access to so many alternatives. The Reverend Lauren Lisa In, vegan.
Set them free! 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 Set them free!
Caring viewers, thank you for your company today. Please join us again on Monday, November 27th for Our Fragile Planet 2023's Wake Up Call, Part 3 of 4. Up next is Love is All Inclusive, Part 3 of 5 on Between Master and Disciples. May World Vegan, World Peace be here soon.
In a letter to respected COP21 world leaders in Paris, France in 2015, Supreme Master Ching Hai urgently advised them to implement vegan law as the solution to mitigate global warming. The letter reads as follows. Respected COP21 world leaders Paris, my special salute and best wishes to all of your distinguished, honoured ladies and gentlemen who have gathered in Paris for the protection of our world. This is just a reminder that just paying money alone cannot save lives, but being vegan does. A lot of evidence and information about this for you to consider are in the book From Crisis to Peace, free online at crisistopeace.org. Countless lives in the present and future, including yours and your children's future, children of your children's, are in your hands. Save them by voting for and implementing vegan law to stabilize the climate. Otherwise, lives on Earth will perish and we will be committing a graver offense than all the acts of killing and wars combined. With all love in God, yours most sincerely, Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, heaven Godspeed.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/PE.